Tara, I want to talk to you first about some breaking news that we're just getting in here at CNN. President-elect Trump is expected to announce in the coming days that Stephen Miller, his top immigration advisor, will serve as White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. Tara, you know Stephen Miller's politics and his policy ideas all too well. We should remind our viewers he was one of the architects of the family separation policy during the first Trump administration. That policy, for viewers who don't remember it, resulted in the separation of thousands of migrant families, basically taking children away from their mothers when they came across the border into this country unlawfully. Tara, your reaction to Stephen Miller being tapped for this kind of a role?
Well, that's what people voted for. I suggest lots of folks who voted for Donald Trump go back and watch a lot of interviews and media appearances by Stephen Miller, and you see who he is. He's a despicable human being that is a racist and a xenophobe, and his own family has disowned him. And this is now who has proximity to power in the White House, basically number 2 next to Susie Wiles, in the ear of the President of the United States. Well, I guess the upside is at least he won't be DHS Secretary or Attorney General. I mean, I don't know.
Do you think that's because they were probably worried that he couldn't get confirmed? Is that?
Probably, yes. But, Trump, that's why Trump is asking for recess appointments, and they're trying to circumvent normal institutions and processes, because you're going to find out that a lot of these people would not be able to pass muster once they are really on public display. I've often said that I do not think that not the MAGAs, they know what they got. But a lot of people who felt that, well, it was the economy, or it won't be so bad, or, they are not fully aware of what they have done and the people they have ushered in. You didn't just vote for Donald Trump. You voted for the people like Stephen Miller, the people who gave those speeches during the fascist rally there you had in Madison Square Garden. They voted for that too. So we're about to see what these people are going to bring onto the American people and our government, and God help us.
And I do want to bring in just very quickly Steve Contorno, our Trump campaign reporter. Steve, you've got more information on Stephen Miller being tapped as a Deputy White House Chief of Staff for Policy. I mean, that is a major role. And I guess one thing that we should note to our viewers is that 2 of the biggest announcements Donald Trump has made since winning the election about what's going to be happening with his new administration, 2 of the big announcements are basically pertain to his plans for mass deportations in this country. Thomas Homan as border czar and Stephen Miller as Deputy White House Chief of Staff.
Yeah, that's right. And I guess it should come as no surprise given how much emphasis Donald Trump put on immigration in his campaign. Even when poll after poll after poll kept showing that the economy was the motivating factor for a lot of individuals, Donald Trump remained adamant that he believed that the top priority and the top concerns facing this country were immigration related. And the advancement of Stephen Miller into this role certainly aligns with that. Now, Miller has been closely involved with Trump's presidential campaign, and he has stayed close to the president after he left office. He has been one of the people who has been working behind the scenes to put together policy plans, executive orders, all of that could be help get the administration off and running from the moment Donald Trump is sworn in. And Miller is interesting as well because he will be under Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, who is really well known for being a manager of Trump's orbit and of Trump himself, and being sort of a disciplined general, but she is not a policy wonk by any stretch. And Stephen Miller fancies himself as someone who is in the weeds and enjoys getting into these policy battles. And he has been very much someone in the past who has written and been influential in shaping Donald Trump's policies, especially on immigration. And you can imagine that he will work closely with Tom Homan on any plans regarding this mass deportation that Trump has promised and is setting the stage to deliver.
All right, Steve Contorno, thank you very much. I want to go to Antoine, who's with me and the rest of the panel. Antoine, your reaction to this news that we're getting, because I mean, this really should not come as any surprise to Americans out there who are saying, okay, Stephen Miller is going to be in the White House.
Well, it's certainly no surprise. Miller and others who we will probably see in this White House have wrapped themselves and bake themselves in white nationalism, Christian white nationalism, white supremacy, and so forth. And there's no education in the second kick of the mule, as we say in South Carolina. And so many of the things we're going to see, many of the appointments, and many of the things the American people will feel will be just leftover or continuation of the first Trump White House. The difference between now and then is there's no unchecked power. He will have 4 years to do whatever he wants to, and the American people, led by the MAGA extremists, have given him a license to do whatever he wants to do, appoint whoever he wants to appoint, and say whatever he wants to say.
And Alvin, I do want to get you to weigh in here, but also your thoughts on what your expectations are for this next Trump administration that's coming in as it pertains to policies geared toward Black Americans. I mean, Stephen Miller, it's just been announced he's going to be the new Deputy White House Chief of Staff for Policy. But Stephen Miller is very steeped in immigration issues, and obviously that's going to be a major focus of this incoming administration. Donald Trump is making that very clear right off the bat, picking Thomas Homan to be a border czar and Stephen Miller to be a Deputy White House Chief of Staff.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it is a terrible day for people who are pro-immigration, but it's also a terrible day for Black America. I mean, what you also need to realize is that Stephen Miller is a principal architect of the diversity, equity, and inclusion bans that have swept this country in the last 2 years. He is also in league with the folks at the Heritage Foundation who want to defund the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which is charged with protecting Black Americans and other minority groups from racial discrimination. Black Americans are the group that experience the most racial discrimination in the U.S. economy. So it is a terrible move if you're trying to support the Black community.
Yeah, and Antoine, I mean, same question to you, your thoughts on all of this. I mean, one of the things that obviously is going to be asked is, what is Trump's focus going to be on in this new administration? Already seems to be making it pretty clear. He's sending signals to the MAGA crowd that you're going to get what you want. These are the people that I want to put in place.
Well, he has to continue to feed the beast. He has to continue to give them right meat, toned down, radical racial rhetoric in order to keep his base together, to keep his party together, and to deliver on his promises. But when it comes to the economic bill of health of Black Americans, first of all, the former president as a candidate did not introduce or give framework to any economic policy that will move us from marginalized to make the playing field level. And so certainly we should not expect that when he becomes president of the United States. But what we should expect, Jim, is for him to take credit from a very strong, robust Biden-Harris economy that most economists who are reasonable would agree that has served the country well and served African Americans well. He's going to benefit from that, and where he doesn't make progress quickly, he will then blame the previous administration for whatever he cannot do in his first 2 years.
And Tara, a final thought from you, and I guess one of the things I would like you to get a final thought in on is some of the thoughts that have been out there that have been expressed that, Trump, it was just all talk out there on the campaign trail. This was just campaign rhetoric that he throws out there. And when he gets to be president again, he'll know that he has to behave in a certain way or else the wheels will come off. And he's got Susie Wiles there as his new chief of staff, and she managed to keep a tight lid on things from time to time. I mean, there's a lot of this sort of, it sort of feels like 2016 heading into 2017 where there was the same talk out there that the mantle of the presidency would rest upon Donald Trump's shoulders and transform him into the second coming of Ronald Reagan, and that just wasn't the case.
Yeah, I mean, people can delude themselves and rationalize whatever they want to try to explain away why they made the decision to put in a felon who incited a violent insurrection to try to overthrow fear of a free and fair election and demonized many groups in this country in the most awful and vile ways, and surrounds himself with the ilk of people like Stephen Miller and others who believe in white supremacy and who think that we need to restore white men because they're going to be replaced. Like, these are the people that Donald Trump has surrounded himself with. He has not gotten any better. And I think about today as Veterans Day and how we honor those who sacrifice and serve in our military to uphold our Constitution and our freedoms and the belief in democracy. And what an affront a Donald Trump presidency is about to be to that oath that they have taken. And with this, all of their sacrifice and everything we have fought for as an American country and this American democratic experiment cannot be in vain. So I hope that all those people that are thinking that, oh, it won't be that bad, and are right. I hope they're right. But my gut feeling and Donald Trump's own behavior and the people he has surrounded himself with says otherwise.
Yeah.
So we're about to find out, and all we can do as those of us who still are pro-democracy, who still believe in equal rights, who still believe that women deserve to be equal citizens, and still believe that that minority rights in this country should be respected and our Constitution should be respected, we have to continue to fight and make sure that these people are held accountable, or else our democracy is going to be lost.
All right, Tara Setmeyer, Antoine Seawright, and Alvin Tillery. Yes, indeed, all the early signals seem to be pointing towards MAGA, not moderation. Appreciate very much the time.